All right, glad to have you here. This is time for a newspaper review, and we already have a public affairs analyst in the studio to help us in the review of some of our national dailies. We have Mr. Paulson Okeke in the studio this morning. Glad to have you. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers.
It's good to have you on the show again.
Thank you very much.
All right.
All right, let's run. The first we are going to look at is stories making the headlines on ABS website. Obiano asked members of Nigerian Legion to key into agriculture to tackle poverty. Today is International Day of Persons Living with Disabilities. Social harmony. Cardinal Arinze to lead Catholic Church to honor Obiano to others. Mrs. Obiano empowers over 350 small-scale entrepreneurs in Anambra. A lot of good stories making the headlines.
From around. Yeah.
Let's begin with the International Day of Persons Living with Disabilities.
Yeah, it's good because these people living with disabilities are members of our society, and we must care for them. So when the United Nations set out today as a day to mark International Days of for disabled persons, what it all requires is that people who are healthy should find a way to celebrate with them, because they are disabled. It's not because of their own making, and the society should always try to reckon with these people, carry them along, because they are part of the society. And one thing is this: those people who are disabled, you don't empathize with them, just try to encourage them. Because by the time you begin to empathize with them, oh, sorry, you are trying to demoralize them. Like you are trying to make them feel that they are no longer part of the society. But the moment you begin to relate with them, interact with them, you try to encourage them, and they begin to feel that they are part of you.
All right, another beautiful one here is Ms. Obiano empowering over 350 small-scale entrepreneurs in Anambra. You know, I watched the video, you know, there's joy everywhere. And Mrs. Obiano, in her words, said that she's filled with joy, you know, seeing faces that are smiling.
Yeah,
you know?
That's one of the wonder works of cafe, because cafe has touched many lives. I witnessed one some time ago where a woman was given a building, so and so on. In many local governments, cafe has tried to show people that it actually cares. So it's a very good way of reaching out to the people who ordinarily could be wished away. But now Her Excellency has designed a package, a program to get these people involved, give them a sense of belonging, make them feel part of the society, get them integrated. So it is always good, it is wonderful.
All right. This Obiano, that's a working governor, you know, asking members of Nigerian Legion to key into agriculture to tackle poverty.
Yeah. Because members of the Legion are retired service personnel, members of the police, members of the army, navy, and military personnel, so to call them. Some of them are so weak, but some of them are still very strong. Now, when they engage them, instead of when you retire, you begin to look at yourself as you cannot do anything. Take up agric venture, because by so doing, you could tackle poverty. If they could ask government to give them a massive area of land where they could go and start farming process. Vegetable is moving, tomatoes, and other cash crops.
All right, finally from the website, let's look at the social harmony. You know, Cardinal Arinze, our own cardinal, to lead Catholic Church to honor Obiano and two others. That's one of the stories we have here.
The honor is because His Excellency has done so much, not for the church alone, but for the society. If you look at his program in releasing money to schools, it is one program he had continued since he assumed office, because his predecessor the former governor Peter Obi started it, and Obiano has keyed into it and has chosen every time to support the schools, because the schools owned by churches, to support them so that their products, when I say their products, I mean the pupils they turn out or the students they turn out are always better than those students that were produced from public schools. So it's one good thing the governor has continued to do that has helped in building morals in the society.
And of course, attracting honor to him.
Yeah, it is because of that the honor is coming.
All right, let's run. The next paper for review is the Daily Sun newspaper.
Stories making the headlines this morning. I am not cloned. Buhari saying that presidency denies stories of double from Sudan. And on top of that story, 2019 Buhari Atiku camps trade wars. President PDP candidate may fail, except that's coming from Baka. APC chades PDP over call for IGP. INEC shares resignation. Osibaja preaches hope at Villa Chapel's end-of-year Thanksgiving. 2 suicide bombers killed, 5 injured in Borno bomb blast. IGP deploys 2,000 police personnel to Northeast. Uniport clears Jonathan on doctorate degree. Well, of course, the big story there, I'm not clone Buhari, president
Very
denies
big story. You may like to call it, honestly.
The next story of double, of course, we know for a very long time now.
This is one of those things Nigerians are always quarreling with. When there are some of these issues trending, the president has media managers. I don't know what they are doing. Advise this man, come and talk to the nation. It is not too big to talk to your subjects.
It doesn't take him anything.
It doesn't take him anything. Talk to us. Let us know whether this issue, whether it is real or not. But they will not.
In other words, does he need a state broadcast to make that?
No, he doesn't. But in a pally, he said this thing is not true. Obasanjo, when the rumor death of Obasanjo sometime, Ade Kambe, and the man said it jokingly, but he has made the point.
He has passed the message, yeah.
He has sent the message. Ade Kambe, everybody say, oh, Obasanjo is not dead, he's not dead. So this cloning issue, for a very long time, since Anambra who blew the lead. Yeah, since then the thing has been trending. And there are certain things that tend to lend credence to it. Because now people say, silence is consent.
Yes, sir.
When there are issues you kept quiet, how long are you going to keep quiet? So you better say something. Otherwise, your refusal to say something means that what they are saying is true.
And who knows is actually what Atiku said about it yesterday that prompted this statement.
It could be. It could be because one is that the way they are running affairs of this country.
Because in the words of Atiku, Atiku said they should finish with the issue of double in the Aso Rock and not trading, moving towards Atiku.
Remember, Kwankwaso sometimes said, if I say what I know.
Even Okorocha went
to say certain things.
Lot of things
if I say what I know about APC, the nation will burn.
Collapse, yeah.
And so on. When some of these things happen, the media managers should always try to stand up, rise up to the challenges, and clear every shadow of doubt. So it is now good that the president has said, I am not double. So it could lay to rest for those who want to believe, but for some doubting Thomases, they could continue. But the important thing is that the president had made a point.
And he has stated it clear. Now let's look at this 2019 Buhari Atiku camps trade war. President PDP candidate may fail, except that's coming from
Father Mbaka. No, you see, Mbaka is always controversial when it comes to issues like this. Well, sometimes he said Buhari will not return to Aso Rock. Who is going to be there? Nobody knows. Let him tell us, because in 2015, he was very, very supportive
of Buhari.
Yes,
that he was going to be the
Now, we don't know where the gap is coming from. Whether he was not carried along in the administration and now he's singing another tune. Well, we are watching. Let's watch and see how the whole thing plays out.
All right. In Nigeria, for some time, we've continued to hear that Boko Haram has been defeated, but a series of stories still rearing their ugly heads concerning the killings This time around,
In
2
Borno
suicide
State.
bombers killed and 5 injured in Borno bomb blasts. You know,
No, you see, the issue of defeating Boko Haram is one of the lies of the nation.
Okay.
I call it lie of the nation because this government had employed to a reasonable extent deceit in running its affairs. On the issue of Boko Haram, maybe because the president promised that in 3 months during his campaign in 2014, 2015, that in 3 months he will defeat Boko Haram. Then 3 months came past, 3 years came past, we are stepping into the 4 years, and yet Boko Haram is still very much alive. The story the other time, they have been decimated, the other time they are attacking soft targets, the other time they are operating from the fringes. What? You have not defeated them then? So why are you telling us you have defeated them when you have not? Telling us they are attacking soft targets, they have been decimated, and they are operating from the fringes. Are they on the same issue you said you have defeated? So, but the attacking of the military attack in Borno State shows that Boko Haram is still very much alive.
all right,
And
but,
very strong.
A lot of questions there. But let's move on with some other papers coming on. Daily Times newspaper. The banner headlines in front says, Africa needs $20 billion yearly to fix rail sector. That's coming from Afrexim Bank. With a rider there signs MOU on rail development with the Russian Railways, REC. That's coming from our REC. Up there we have finally Buhari debunks allegation, says, I'm not cloned. President says, a rider there, I'll soon celebrate my 76th birthday. Right, down here we have Dangote steps up investment in agriculture to boost Nigeria's economy. EFCC will protect your investment, Magu tells Nigerians in diaspora. Navy seizes 753 bags of rice, arrests 16 suspected smugglers. The last but not the least says GT Bank clicks best bank in Nigeria. Very big congratulations there to Guarantee Trust Bank for clinching the best bank in Nigeria. All right, let's move to the next story for review this morning. What's your take on some of the stories?
Afrexim Bank. See, on the development of railway in Africa, one thing is that Africa is so big, unlike Europe. Africa is bigger than Europe. So, but I want to know that in Europe, they have one common railway linking the whole countries in Europe.
Okay.
And it is easy, very easy to move from one country to another and to move goods as well. But in Africa, it's not like that. Because moving from West Africa to North Africa, then to East Africa and South Africa, could be a very, very long stretch.
You think it's an impossibility?
No, not an impossibility, but when you think about what the logistics and what it will involve, okay.
Is it not worth doing, you know?
It's worth doing, I agree. But what will be involved is what I am thinking about. Because one is that common international routes from Nigeria to Cotonou to Togo it's difficult to maintain.
Anyway.
Talking about rail. So I don't know whether Afrexim Bank could be able to achieve it. Otherwise, we might be talking about another 50 years to do it.
All right, let's just keep hope alive. Please, in case you're watching, this program, you can contribute by using the numbers on the screen to call us and make your own opinion count on all the issues being raised here this morning. All right, let's run. You know, there are some other stories in the Daily Times. Down here, we have, okay, this is a very good one. Dangote steps up investment in agriculture to boost Nigeria's economy. What does that say?
In agriculture, another Dangote has rice farms, very large farms, and he has promised to end rice import in this country because he has prepared for it. He's been doing it. Like this season, he will not only do it, but he will crash the prices as well. He promised Nigeria that a bag of rice this December will be 10,000 naira. So we are waiting. A huge investment in agriculture will go a long way in tackling food crisis, because as a nation, it's not always good to have food crisis. And one of the major things a country can boast of is to feed itself. Nigeria, for some time, had not been feeding itself. So efforts of people like Dangote and some other entrepreneurs, big businessmen.
And you think the challenges, you know, most of these companies are being faced over the years could be fixed. You know, when Dangote makes this comment, do they have it, you know, in
No, I know Dangote has a very large farm somewhere in the north. That is when he was talking about ending food importation, especially rice in this country. He has been talking about it, and he has been talking about crashing the prices below 10,000 naira even.
All right.
So
let's hope he achieves it. Let's move on to the next paper, the Punch newspaper. Stories making the headlines. Minimum wage, we are losing patience. NLC wants federal government. Subsidy debts. Oil marketers give federal government 7-day ultimatum. You can get that on page 37. Stock market weekends records 581 billion naira loss in November. On top of that story, the Punch this morning, cloning allegation. It's real me, Buhari responds. Lagos police find 2 children kidnapped by nanny in Benin Republic. Well, okay, let's look at the big one, minimum wage. We are losing
wage.
You know, there was something my kids saw yesterday in one of the religious papers, you know, that South Africa are paying... yes, while my kids were like, Mommy, what is this? So what is this?
Well, it depends on the strength of their workforce. That's one thing. Nigeria, if they so decide to pay, they will first of all tell you the workforce. So it depends. We're a very big country. If we could go for 126,000, we could go for breaking. You understand? But 30,000 naira should not be an issue. Because the recent police pay rise, I saw the chart. A police constable will earn 94,000 naira per month. A police constable, otherwise with WAEC, will earn 94,000. So a civil servant will earn 18,000 naira. Is it not laughable? We are buying from the same market. We should not be making any story out of 30,000 naira, please. Federal government should try to pay that money. It is nothing.
You know, when you even use the word try, sometimes I really wonder because
it is because they're trying to find it difficult.
I really don't know why they're making excuses for that. You just cited an example with the police salary structure.
A commissioner now earns 1.5 million a month, and we are buying from the same market. You see, like I said some time ago, let us have a harmonized salary structure in this country. We are buying from the same market. We pay the same. We live in the same. Pay the same house rent. So it is bad. Nigeria is the only country where every particular, you know, if they want a pay rise, they go on strike. The government will say, okay, we increase your salary. In Nigeria today, we have more than 20 salary structures. Civil service is the least.
All right, we just hope they see reasons, you know, to beef up the pay. Let's go to the Guardian newspapers for review right now. The bold headline we have here: Buhari in Poland says, "I'm not Jubril," with a rider. Oyedepo seeks official statement on controversy. Up here we have Nigerians will never forget PDP's crimes. APC insists. With riders, Akeredolu faults National Working Committee, backs Buhari on right to sue party. Mass defection looms as Lulu Briggs resigns from party. No refund, no reconciliation, aggrieved members declare. All right, up here, Army yet to access $1 billion equipment fund, says Buratai. Oil marketers vow to shut down depots over 800 billion naira subsidy arrears. APD presidential candidate steps down for Olawepo Hashim. All right, where do we begin? You know, the story of oil marketers vowing to shut down depots over 800 billion. I don't know why this will always be during Christmas, during December period.
Because Christmas period is the period when there are a lot of activities, movements here and there. And some people have always tried to capitalize on it, to increase prices, to hoard, just to increase prices and so on. So that's why at the end of the year, they always try to be funny in some of their activities. The oil marketers, for instance, they had the whole of the period. And for once, in the beginning, let us talk about the subsidy they're trying to. The government told us that there is no longer subsidy in this country. And we are just living on that. All of a sudden, from the back door, they brought back subsidy. That's one thing I said about the APC government, always not telling Nigerians.
All right, I think let's see who is there. The first call. Hello, good morning. Oh, we lost it. All right, go on.
So like I was saying, it's one of those things I was saying, APC not telling Nigerians what they are doing. Because if you can tell us that subsidy is full of fraud and all these things, and you are prosecuting people for that, and therefore you abolish subsidy. If you want to bring it back, you say tell Nigerians, this subsidy thing, we are trying to bring it back. But you cannot bring it back through the back door, and all of a sudden we begin to hear about subsidy. So otherwise we ask, what subsidy place? The one you have banned. Now oil marketers are threatening because you have not paid them. Go and pay them because you have started it. You have paid already.
All right, so let's see here, APC talking the minds of Nigerians, that Nigerians should never forget PDP's crimes.
They should forget, we are tired of all those things. They should tell us something new. Honestly, they said they are taking us to the next level. Therefore, let us tell us to what extent are they taking us to. Because in the change mantra they promised us in 2015, nothing has changed. So they now say they are taking us to the next level. Is it the next level of change that taking? That next level does not make meaning to me, because I have not understood anything about moving to next level.
Okay,
the level we are in.
You need to be clear.
Yeah, the level we are in, we are not better off. And you want to take us to another level.
So maybe probably they would have to come out and see.
No, they should expatiate on the next level.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see one more stories before we wrap up. You know, where Ahmed is saying that yet to access $1 billion equipment fund. That's coming from Buratan.
Well, I don't know, because that $1 billion dollar thing caused a lot of controversy in this country. Why should this $1 billion be approved without due process? But people say it's security, the president has a right, and so on. Now it has been approved by Nigerians and the National Assembly and every other person. I don't know what is delaying. Maybe it's a justification for the killings in the north. We will not take it, because what we know is that this amount has been approved for them. Whether there is a delay in assessing it, it is entirely their business.
Okay.
All right, we'd like to apologize to someone calling. We cannot take any other call for want of time. You know, when we began at exactly 8, and you have all the time. Please, sorry about that. Tomorrow is another day, and we also have other things coming for you to really call and make contributions. At this point, we'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Paulson, for coming on the show. Thanks for your time.